Good afternoon, YouTube. Um, so many of us are pushing as hard as we can through this pandemic, um, but we must always be aware that there are people of malevolent intent in government, let's say, who will take advantage of our fear during this crisis and will use it to line their own pockets. And that will be the theme of this video. Um, I wanted to start with a perfect example of carelessness in government. I'm just going to play this little clip for you. I want you to note Nenshi, when he addresses the public, seems to be very disingenuous in his approach every time, at least from my perspective. He never addressed the people directly. It's like his mind is somewhere else. I want you to note it. So just have a look here.
We're not out of this. This week we've had days with the highest number of new cases in Calgary. We've had 7 more deaths, I'm sorry to say, since the last time we had a media briefing. So certainly, while we have plateaued, it is not safe to say we have peaked and we are declining. That's not to say that the province was wrong in bringing forward a relaunch plan. In fact, they were right in doing so. And it is a very thoughtful plan. It is very oriented towards information and data, which is something that I really appreciate. Now, certainly there are some squabbles here and there. I perhaps had to spend some time with a provincial official yesterday explaining the difference between massage therapists and body rub practitioners. Don't ask. But talking about how some of those medical services might want to be accelerated with others. I got to tell you that I was surprised when I heard May 14th. And my very first thought was, that is way too early. But then when I listened to what the province was saying and I realized what was actually being said was, it could be as early as May 14th if the following things are in place.
Okay, before he proceeds with more lying, I just wanted to show you, Nenshi does not feel that that's too early. In fact, there are 2 pieces of evidence that I want to present to you. So first, let's see, the work sites and the construction workers in Calgary are still operating full swing. If you'll see here, there is consistently I would even say there's an increase in roadworks construction in the city of Calgary. Work sites, they say extra work site measures, yada, yada, yada. It's all a sham, because when you look at the and I'll probably produce a video of this at some point, if you look at the construction sites, many of the construction workers don't actually adhere to social distancing. They're far too worried about what they're doing. And when I look at how the arena, for example, in spite of COVID, in spite of so many things happening right now to our economy, in addition to the nonsense that let's be specific. Nenshi is going to be going through with the Saddle Dome Arena upgrade, in spite of the fact that many Calgarians right now are not working. Okay? The taxation in the city, we just paid the taxes for the property tax, have increased again, say 15 to 20%. So when he talks like this, we're going to lose 400 million without financial help, and then he still approves a deal like this, and as far as I'm concerned, this is still going ahead, rather than make austerity cuts and actually postpone or close the project for the time being. Okay, So Nenshi will still put the Flames Arena, the new replacement arena, in full swing. They're working on it. So construction crews downtown and all over the city are still, they're still doing everything that they're doing. Let's say they haven't decreased productivity, none of it. Now, when you look at in Calgary, another Albertan has died. That's yesterday already. 615 total cases confirmed in continued care facilities around the province. 67 deaths as of yesterday. Here we go. 62 in the Calgary zone have died. 3,842 cases in the Calgary zone. So now I submit to you the other piece of evidence. Calgary is more affected than Edmonton, as you can see here, in terms of deaths, in terms of cases. Why is it so? I hypothesize that it's because our airport is still very much open to travel instead of doing the right thing like shutting it down. What I think is that this is actually in the mayor's power, because Edmonton has actually, there are 4 airports in Canada that are still open to international travel, despite what Trudeau says. Forget about what Trudeau said. There are still 4 airports that are open, and you can go online and you can look at the flights right now. Flights from Hong Kong, flights from Britain, flights from anywhere. It's so I hypothesize that Calgary Airport is actually one of the ways that this virus got into our city in the first place. And I believe that if our airport had actually been shut down from, let's say, any destinations receiving from any destinations that are a hotspot, for example, like China, like England, or wherever, the point is this: they didn't shut it down. The cases in Calgary are substantially higher than Edmonton, which did. So you can not appreciate that. You can say the Edmonton airport might still be open or whatever, but I maintain that Calgary is a hotspot for that reason. And also, you have to appreciate the fact that Nenshi could have shut down the airport. He could have pushed the province or even Trudeau. But you have to remember that Nenshi is trying to make inroads for Trudeau into this province so he can get to a higher level in politics, let's say. And this is actually currying a favor for Trudeau, keeping the Calgary airport open. That's my hypothesis. Now, when I'm looking at this guy talking about we have to discuss things or have conversations with massagers and hairdressers, and the way that he dismissed it like a joke, I'm sure that he treats this whole crisis like a joke, because he says one thing, but in practice, his construction crews are still going full swing. And as far as I am concerned, he has done nothing for budget cutting in the city, even with coronavirus. So I surmise that a person like that, who is so heartless, that people are out of work by his own hand, I might add, by the engaging in the extreme high property taxes for businesses and making things intolerable for Calgarians financially, and have the audacity to say we're going to be short 400 million when he's not cutting taxes, or pardon me, when he's not cutting his spending at all, zero. If anything, I would bet that if you had a close look at the books, they're actually increasing their budget and how much they're borrowing. So now, This nonsense with the arena, and I want to circle back to it before I say goodbye. Nenshi says Calgarians angry over the arena deal. Let us go back to when the Olympics deal was being hammered out here in Calgary, and that they had a referendum, a forced referendum, because Nenshi didn't want to have one, that Calgarians could vote on the matter, and they voted against it, and then they had to shut the whole thing down right after he opened up this stupid thing. And this is but a distraction, because if we really look at Green Line LRT, which will cost 4.5 billion, and that's still going ahead. I mean, when Nenshi talks about we need this, we need that, it's like begging for money from the province or from the federal government, and if he can't succeed, or even if he does succeed, he'll still raise the taxes for all of his flamboyant plans, let's say, ostentatious plans, flashy nonsense. And, you know, I'm hoping that the arena gets another referendum right now. And we'll see how much in favor Calgary is still in favor of doing something stupid like that. So he's delaying the plebiscite because he's hoping that by the time 2021, which could be near the end of 2021, if my guessing for his nonsense is accurate, because if I were in his position, I'd delay it as long as I could. Maybe October, maybe November 2021. You know, they want to ask this question when the coronavirus has essentially died down, so to speak. And mostly we've got the thing under control, and like society reopens and whatnot. There's a lot of things. But the fact that he can still go ahead, 275 million for the new event center, and I'm pretty sure it's actually that, 550. How could you be so heartless, so irresponsible in this moment, that people who are already stretched extremely thin to begin with, and who are most likely depending on, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying a lot of people in this city are probably depending on that government check for coronavirus to help them through their struggle for God knows how long, maybe a few more months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, we don't know. But the fact of the matter is, council did nothing to cut spending, and they're still shrouding this thing to keep it under the rug, to keep people blind and ignorant, when they're still proceeding ahead with all their expensive, ostentatious ideas and plans for the city. So I wanted to bring it to your attention, because the hypocrisy that he makes in this silly interview of his, this guy was in India rallying the Bollywood community to come here and start, let's say, Bollywood in Calgary. That was his concern while our industry was dying in Calgary. Businesses were leaving Calgary. His taxation increased. Like, this guy actually wants to create business himself, the ideal business himself, rather than help the current business that's operating in Calgary. Let's say it like that. Piece by piece, he'll transform Calgary into his own playpen. You know what I mean? This is the guy we have for mayor. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I thank you for watching, and I'll be releasing subsequent videos about this, since coronavirus, I don't want to politicize it too much, but there are people that make money out of our current situation, and they're heartless people, and I wanted to expose that to the public. Thank you for your time and your attention, and bye-bye.